Special thank you to Seed and Stone Cidery and Lucky Buzz Meadery for sponsoring the show today. They help to make this show possible and supply us with the occasional beverage when we're out there. They've got 10 taps full of meads and ciders made right there in-house. They've also got all sorts of awesome events going on, including an open mic almost every single Thursday where you can come out and show your musical talent. So all you songwriters out there, stop out and grab a cider or a mead and tell them that the Songwriters Couch and the Patrick Joanne Band sent you. Again, Seed and Stone Cidery right here in Rochester, New York. Go out and visit them and let them know we sent you. Thanks, guys. All right, so welcome to episode 4 of the Songwriters Couch, brought to you by the one and only Patrick Joanne Band. I'm Patrick Joanne, and this is
Jaesic Wade.
Jaesic Wade, and Jaesic, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thanks
we appreciate it. And you're one of the first people here to be on the new set with our cool-ass neon sign.
So cool.
And some new lighting and stuff. We got some commentary on the background, so we updated it a little bit.
Hell yeah.
So if I'm going to read your bio now,
Yeah.
I may mess it up just because I'm reading it now for, like, I read, like, the first like, sentence of it, but I'm going to read it now.
I forgive you, Patrick.
Thank
in
you,
advance.
I appreciate if I had a nickel for every time I heard.
You'd be pretty rich right now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I make a lot of mistakes. So, Jaesic Wade has been singing and dancing since they could walk and talk. A multi-instrumentalist. That's a hard word to say.
I know, right?
And vocalist. Jaesic has now spent the past decade combining their passion for music with their vast experience in and love of social partner dancing. Oh yeah, you're a dancer. I saw that recently too. We'll talk about that too because I'm definitely not a dancer. So
well, hey, I teach.
Yeah. I'm gonna definitely need your assistance with that. So we've also got speaking of new microphones too. Shout out to Logitech, and if they want to sponsor the podcast and give us a bunch of free ones too.
Do it.
You know, we're musicians and stuff, and you know maybe we got a little sway in that area. But starting from humble beginnings as a piano, ukulele, and guitar singer-songwriter, now being a regular gigging jazz singer.
Yep.
Which we'll talk about that a little bit. And orchestrating full band arrangements. Jaesic can't wait to see what's coming in the next 5 years. The Rochester Jazz Festival.
That's a goal. It's a dream.
Is that a goal of yours?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Within the next 2. I'm going to make it happen.
Okay.
Yep.
I got you. If you need some sway there, I can break arms and stuff.
Oh, well.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Didn't hear from us here.
If anyone's working for the Jazz Fest, I'm not going to do that. So, but thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate
thanks for
it.
having me.
Yeah, we're on episode 4 now, but we're working towards many. And I do need to say, because this is another exciting thing that we've now got our first sponsor that I can actually announce. So Seed and Stone Cidery. Thank you for sponsoring the show. We'll probably have something play before this, a little commercial type of deal. But going forward in episodes, we might be drinking some of their delicious cider and meads. They're local here in Rochester, but you can get them anywhere. They got 10 taps and stuff. Super friendly to musicians and creatives and all the like. So go out there, support them. Seed and Stone Cidery and Lucky Buzz Meadery. So if have you ever had mead before?
Oh, I love mead.
Jaesic?
Yeah, I actually had some homemade mead last night.
Did you? Homemade?
Yeah.
So you made?
Well, I didn't make it. My high school friend did.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they've been doing that for like 6 or 7 years now.
It's like honey wine for anyone that doesn't know what it is. So
delicious.
Let's start out with
superior wine. Sorry.
Is it? You find it superior to grapes? So no red wine?
No, I love all wine. Okay. I don't discriminate. I don't.
All right.
Anyway.
You love red wine. Yeah, that's right. So let's start here. Like what got you into music? And I asked that coming from a family of musicians, and most of the people I've had on the show have had either family members that are musicians, that are in the music industry, whatever.
I'm no different.
Yeah, is it the same thing?
I grew up with my mom, actually. She's a music teacher. So I was surrounded by all the instruments you can imagine growing up. And oddly enough, one of my earliest memories of our old yellow house before I moved at like the age of 4, I think. So this was before age of 4. My mom brought home an oboe, And I was fascinated by it because it sounded like a dying duck, because my mom didn't know how to play it yet. And she let me squawk at it, and I actually got a tone out. Like I actually got a note out.
It's funny. I'm a musician.
Yeah.
What is an oboe?
Oboe is a double reed instrument.
Okay,
so it looks like a clarinet, but it has a double reed instead of a mouthpiece.
My daughter Maya, sitting over there helping out
Hey, Maya.
With the podcast, played the bass clarinet and the clarinet. So
very cool. Yeah,
I know what an oboe is. Like if I saw it.
Yeah, you would. But it's one of the hardest instruments, in my opinion, to play.
Yeah.
Because of I think double reed instruments in general are really, really difficult because you have all this pressure in your whole body pushing out a tiny little bit of air into this tiny little hole making noise.
So what is? So why is it a double reed? It's two reeds.
It's literal.
Mouthpiece?
Yeah, it's two. So I actually almost went to school for oboe performance. I started in 4th grade officially when you pick your instrument and then you go do band. To be a professional oboist, you really need to know how to make the reeds. So I was training myself I got lessons and it was a whole thing. But literally you take cane, it's called, reed cane, and you take it from its stiff, hard-shelled self into slicing it and bending it and scraping it and soaking it in water and doing all these things and tying it. The tying was the worst because you have to hold it and then your fingers get cut up. just put it out there. It's not a fun time to make oboe reeds, but
so
definitely rewarding.
What I found with people that go to school for music, sometimes it schools the music out of them.
Yes, and I'm very glad I did not.
I compared that, I think, on the I don't know if I did on the last show, to religion. How you go to Catholic school or something, and everyone that goes to Catholic school, by the end of it, they're like, I've had enough.
I'm done. Get me out.
I'm out. Do you feel like that? I don't feel.
No,
obviously you're a musician now.
Yeah, so I actually life worked out the way that it did. Instead of going to BGSU on scholarship for oboe performance, I went to U of M for academia. I did not do music for college. And I'm actually really glad that I did because 10 days before I moved into my freshman year, I actually had my gallbladder removed. So I couldn't even play oboe for a solid 6 months anyway. And then on top of that, I'm grateful that competition, that environment to be a professional oboist, that wasn't my path because it absolutely would have ruined music for me. I guarantee you that would have been my path.
So if you weren't playing oboe, did you pick up another instrument in the?
Oh yeah, I've started with oboe in 4th grade. And before that, recorder and stuff, the little kid stuff. And then actually my first instrument was violin at 3 years old and piano at 4.
So you really...
I've been in the sauce my whole life.
You're from the streets like I am.
Exactly.
Like we were talking about before. The music streets. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember being, and I don't know if I've ever even told my dad this story about this, but I remember being, 3 or 4 years old and sitting on the floor, and he had milk crates and a record player on that. I remember him playing Hey Joe.
Hey Jude.
No. Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
Hey Joe.
Yeah.
And it's one of the first memories I have. In general from when I was that young, but then also one of the first musical things that I remember. As a matter of fact, I think it's my first memory altogether, out of anything. The first time I actually remember something, and it was listening to Jimi Hendrix on a record player, kind of kneeling and whatever. It's it's so impactful at that age. I can't imagine playing piano though. Early on or anything that.
It was just a natural as much as talking as plucking around on the piano. So I got lessons from a very, very young age for both violin and piano, and then public school.
You can still
Oh
play
yeah,
piano,
I still play. Violin, no. I broke my wrist when I was 10, and I can't. I also have a connective tissue disorder, so holding things up and moving, no, body don't like. So I don't do that anymore. But if you put it in front of me, I could pick it up again.
So what were you if you were in school doing oboe and the piano and
saxophone and a bunch of I did a lot. Okay.
Yeah. So what songs were you learning? I'm guessing it was like the school stuff,
Yeah,
like the
mostly.
marching band. And
Yep. I started Suzuki for violin, so like classical.
Can I ask something? Because
yeah.
I honestly have no schooling in music.
That's okay. Yeah.
So like, what is the Suzuki? Can you sum up?
Suzuki is this pretty well known within the classical arena as like a course of study. So they have levels, and you go through tests sometimes, and it's like how you progress in your studies as a kid to get your classical prowess.
Take
basically.
that, Maya? Did you have the Suzuki method in school? Do you know? Do you remember hearing that?
No, it's not like everywhere, but it is pretty common.
Yeah, typical for like usually piano lessons or whatever. Done like that. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So
then you started doing rock oboe in a jazz.
I actually really want to
band.
bring it back. I want to do jazz oboe. I'm gonna incorporate in my recordings soon. So that's like something I'm actively working on.
I think that would be amazing
if
you wrote like strictly oboe and vocal songs. I wonder like what that would even sound like.
Yeah.
Like go to an open mic and just start playing. Oh no, well you couldn't sing because you're doing the oboe.
Well, if I had a looper going, I could like loop certain lines, and then you're giving me ideas.
Yeah, Jaesic,
I like that.
We're gonna make
that a lot.
This oboe idea happen. Whether you want it to happen or not.
No, I do though.
I wish now I kind of wish I knew that, so I could have told you bring an
God,
oboe.
I haven't practiced in so long. That would have been bad. It's okay. I saved you all. We're not gonna do that. But yeah, so overall, violin, but I don't count that anymore. So piano, oboe in 4th grade, alto sax in 6th. Guitar, ukulele in 8th. I did tenor saxophone in junior year of high school for jazz. They needed so we switched. And then I taught myself trumpet in senior study. Like I did an independent study. And I sing. I think that's all of them. I don't know.
That's wonderful that you can do that. I know such a little amount in so many instruments. I mean, guitar I probably know the most. Mm-hmm. You know, I can do vocals. I can play very terrible piano sometimes. Like I know where the notes are, but I couldn't be like, oh, let me go play a solo or let me just learn something quickly. Yeah. Same with drums. Like I can keep a rock beat.
Oh my! Don't even get me started on drums.
Did you ever take drums?
So I never took drums. I did practice senior year also in independent study. I learned some beats, but at the time I was in this band that we didn't have a drummer for a minute, and so we were all rotating all the parts. Like I played literally all the things.
Yeah, I can see it.
Maybe one day I go back to it. I loved it. It's just very hard. It's very hard. So I played a show for high school as the drummer for 2 songs. I'm very proud of this, and I will probably never have it again.
I kind of feel like the music prowess, I guess you can call it.
Sure.
That you have, or like
sure.
your interest in it.
Yeah.
Is what I really I gravitate towards people like that, right? And the reason for that is because there's people that learn to play an instrument. You know, probably their family has never been a part of it, but they wanted to learn an instrument, so they go and they learn how to play like classical violin or what have you. And there's a difference between the way those people's brains work,
totally.
and the people that grew up in families that were musical or just always had music around, and it's almost like a language that you speak, and I find that when I talk to other musicians that are in that growing up in music, I can instantly be like, I like this person.
Yeah, we have a rapport
they
already.
Understand me. Yeah,
yeah, totally.
Like the need to play. And perform and write music and do whatever it is, because you're not only into music, but you're physically embodying music in dance, which, like I said before, I'm awful at. I have no business doing dance. Although I did take waltz.
Okay, cool.
Lessons at one of these one of the community centers here.
Nice.
So there's all like 50 plus
Yeah, of course.
people, lots of like older women
Yeah.
or whatever. So I'd go there and I'd dance with the,
I'm
with
sure
the
they
lady.
loved you.
Well, they liked that I was there until I started dancing with them and stepping on their feet, and then they were like,
Like, all right, get this guy out.
yeah, they were like, yeah, I thought I liked you, but there was one woman in particular who got really like she used to get mad at me because I was really.
I'm sorry.
I'm not coordinated for whatever reason. My hands can do all sorts of stuff.
Sure.
As soon as I try and get my feet or my hips or anything
It's like,
involved,
out the window.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they're not connected somehow between the two.
That's okay.
So you went from like learning that to then, I guess I'm looking for like where is the transition when you said, okay, I'm gonna start maybe writing or wanting to do.
I've been composing since I was able like to play instruments, especially with piano. Like I grew up composing just on the spot to myself. Like it wasn't something that I frequently shared. And then I started writing, I think around 7th or 8th grade. So what's that, like 12 years old, 10 years old?
Yep.
Between 10 and 12, I really started experimenting with writing actual songs that I also sang with. And I found it was much easier to sing with an ukulele than it was a piano. But I loved challenging myself and doing both. I wish I had any of those songs still, like they're gone. But I never let that part of me die. It just has been an interesting journey since then, getting to a place where I'm consistent with embracing music, embracing the way I interpret music, the way that I produce music. And now I'm finally looking at doing some recordings in like a real serious sense where it's like, no, this isn't just a hobby anymore. Like this is something I want to do. This is something I want to share with the world in a really like big way. And I'm struggling a little bit with the pacing that the universe is allowing me. I desperately want to be performing and recording and doing shows and sharing my music with the world. And it's just like these things keep falling out of place. Like I literally just lost my drummer. So if you know anybody, holler at your guy.
Can I say something real quick? And Jonah, if you ever watch this, don't worry, I'm not talking about you. He's my drummer.
Okay.
Jonah, okay?
Yeah.
But being in a band is kind of like being in a relationship.
Yes, it is.
Like a romantic relationship, with a bunch of people.
A little bit.
It's kind of like being like, I guess you'd call it poly now, right?
Yeah,
being in a poly relationship, but all at the same time at the same place.
Yep.
Right? And so it's very difficult to keep all those relationships like solid. And you tend to have people that have different ideas of where they want to go.
Sure.
So maybe they're temporarily in the band, just like, oh, this is something fun to do. It's not really a serious thing. They're not trying to pursue it. So they end up leaving or whatever. Drummers, for whatever reason, and I was going to say this before, you kind of have to be like born a drummer, I feel like. Like there's a specific like personality type that says, I love music, but not only do I love music, I want to be a drummer and hit things and keep the rhythm of it and all that sort of thing, right? And so I feel like drummers I've gone through, I don't know, I've had 7 drummers, I think, in my band. So don't get discouraged.
That honestly is very encouraging.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, it's like trying to keep a marriage together, a relationship. It's difficult, and you have to be able to communicate, and you have to kind of have the same end in mind, right? If you're in a marriage,
I think that's really.
It's like
that's where I've lacked that specific kind of connection. It's like I have this vision for myself where I want a cohesive unit that is ride or die kind of energy, where we're committed to really hunkering down and writing music and producing it and getting out and trying to get shows. So far in my career, we'll call it. Career. I have been the only one. I've been the only one committed to myself. Like I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and this is not something we have to dive into, but it's just like I don't know how to find the people that want what I want, and I'm not letting it get to me quite yet, but I can feel it. It's like I'm on the edge of like, why the heck can't I get this going? Like I know I have good music to offer the world. And I can't do it on my own. Like I require a band.
Yeah.
So I have been working with my old band that I mentioned in high school. They're called Nerds in Denial. Check them out. They are a like fusion rock alternative, or I don't even know what to call them. They're
Well, we'll link it.
They're wild.
in
Yeah.
the description too. So I'll have to get all that
Cool,
stuff.
yeah,
along
that'd be
with
great.
Your Instagram and all that.
But
all that
thanks.
kind of thing. Yeah.
But yeah, they're awesome, and it's so hard to look outside of them because they've got their own stuff going on. You know, they're doing their own projects. They can't always work with me. They got a lot going on, and they are like the way that we that creative chemistry, that creative language that we share. Like the song that I might be playing later and can link that we produced together. They recorded it and mastered it and everything. I had this song I brought to them. In my head, I had a certain soundscape. They literally produced it, like instrument by instrument, line by line. It's exactly what I wanted. You don't just get that from anywhere, you know? Like that doesn't just happen. It's 1 in a million kind of thing, or even more. Like what are the odds? So to need to move on from that and find people that want to write with me and record with me in a more timely, serious fashion. And I love my boys. I think they're incredible, and I'm so grateful for everything we've done up to this point. But I recognize how I am holding myself back in a way, timing wise.
Well, can I interject something
please.
here, because I've been in multiple bands now at this point in my life, and I've had not only multiple bands but written a bunch of music with people. I've had experiences where I've written and recorded music and then had to take it off of distribution, like get rid of it, all this sort of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff I've kind of like learned over the years and experience, and maybe I can share some of that here with you and with the people, because that's kind of the purpose of this podcast, honestly, is to share the experience of not only writing music, but the different components of going out performing and distributing your music and all that sort of thing. When you get involved with other musicians, you have to think of it like you, right?
Yeah.
So they probably, when they became musicians, I'm going to have my own band where I'm going to be the star of the band, right?
Sure.
And I want to write my own music, and I want to have my own input. And some people are very good at writing, songs and doing that stuff. But eventually some musicians also figure out, like, I'm not that good at actually writing songs. It's a whole different skill set, right? Writing a song versus playing covers, playing music, right? And not to say that some people have it, some people don't, but there's a skill set, and some people love the writing process. Mm-hmm. Some people just don't enjoy that and can't master, and you have to do a lot of it to get good at it. And so you have to take this thought of, like, okay, what are they? You have to put yourself almost in their shoes. All right, they want to follow. In order to get them to follow my vision of what I have for this thing that I'm writing, especially if you're writing most of the songs, you have to get them on board. Like, you have to be a leader, and you have to have them buy into the dream, let's say, or the vision of what you're delivering. Totally. And at some points in your career, you have to say, how am I communicating maybe what I'm seeing for this in a way that's not effective, right? And so part of being in a band or a relationship or whatever is figuring out, how do I communicate more effectively my vision of what I'm seeing for this, and not why is it important for me, but why is it also beneficial for the people that are involved in coming with me on this journey, that it's good for everyone involved, because my skill set is just maybe the songwriting, and maybe I play guitar and vocals. I can't play drums. I can't do that other stuff that makes the song really come alive and make this stuff really happen and be on stage all at once and make that synergy all work, and so I'm being told to lower my hands because I talk. I think it's my Italian side. I'm like talking with my hands.
I talk with my hands too. I get it.
But there's definitely a skill set there, and there is you've got to be patient, because there are emotions involved that are outside of just, it's just a band that you're playing with, right?
Right. And God, I don't want just a band, you know,
Yeah.
like I want a family. I want
where does
that commitment.
Jaesic, where does that come from? Did you have siblings that you played music with, or?
No. No, I mean, Chaz, my brother, he was also a musician. He also played saxophone. He had his own band. He's 5.5 years older than me. So he had his own band through college. He actually toured for a time.
Did you ever play together with him at
No.
all? Sing at home?
I mean, we did for Christmas and things. Like my mom would have us put on a little show,
Yeah.
which was fun. Also very annoying sometimes, but
Yeah.
it was good. But yeah, like I think really my desire comes from my experience with the Nerds, of knowing what that friend group has capacity
it
for.
almost spoiled you.
Yeah, a little bit. Like it set my expectations and standards very high, because that's what I've been seeking, is the synergy that you mentioned, like the synergy, the chemistry, the presence, the love. Like we all care deeply for each other. We're good friends. Like I want that in a band, and I don't know how to like it scares me to think that I need to go to Craigslist and be like, hey, come join my band, and then force relationship. Like that's not what I want.
Like getting on a dating app.
Yeah, I don't want to freaking do that with a. I don't do that for my own dating life. I definitely don't want to do it for a band. Like that's a very vulnerable thing to do.
Yeah.
Like,
well, so that's what I think. I think also most people that don't write music don't realize what you're doing, right? When you're writing songs, they're very vulnerable. Like they're mostly emotions that you felt at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe sculpted into a story of some sort that's not 100% true, but it's got that emotional component that you actually lived through. So they're super personal. And then to hand that over to people and have them almost treat it as like, oh, it's a commodity. And it can be almost personally like, personally get you a little bit like, oh, they don't respect the emotion or what I was feeling at that moment. But I think I as well, like when I was younger, I was spoiled because my dad played guitar, my older brother played guitar, and I've talked about this. Me and my older brother would constantly play, and it's like talking when we. Yeah. I'm doing the hand thing again. It's almost like it's like talking. So it's not we're going to go play a song. Right. We're just almost like having a conversation with each other, which is why I get along with musicians. I feel like that were born into music versus like went to school for it, because there's a certain level of just natural understanding. And I'm going to give a shout out here to my keyboard player Garrigan,
Garrigan,
and Jeff and Jonah and Greg right now, because the band right now that I have, I've been blessed to be able to play with people and individuals that are very not only talented musically and technically, but I have that connection with. And not only do I have that connection with, but that wasn't necessarily there right from the start.
That's fair.
It grew.
That's fair.
As we got to know each other and we fought a little bit.
Conflict.
I hate what you're doing.
No, yeah, conflict
and
is healthy.
Stop doing this, and and it very much is like a So I'm going to say a controversial thing here, Jaesic. Ready?
Oh no! Watch out, everybody!
I hope I don't get canceled on my fourth episode of the song, because I just spent like $30 on a neon sign for the set.
And all the effort of putting it up, man. Come on.
So the screws. It's going to be very detrimental if I get canceled after this. No, but I always equate playing music with a group of musicians. I equate it to kind of a relationship. Yeah. But it's especially when you go and you perform, it's like having sex.
No, it is. It is
almost right. But in a platonic way, like having sex in a platonic. But that sounds weird. But it's like.
No, you're creating something.
Yeah. Like, there's.
You're giving and receiving.
Yeah, there's like this emotional connection between everyone on stage. And that's what gets audiences into it too, by the way, is that emotional connection between the musicians on the stage. It's almost like they would be doing that on the stage even if there wasn't an audience there to watch it, right?
That's the magic.
Like I said, I've been spoiled lately to have that. But it's very few and far between that those type of things happen, which is why bands that become giant bands and work so well together and become successful and continue to make records like the Rolling Stones and Beatles and all that stuff, the fact that they can manage to continue to do that for years and years and years, it's like a 50-year marriage. It's difficult to do, and it's not often that it happens. Yeah. And so there's something special about it. And so when you see bands like the Rolling Stones or Beatles, it doesn't happen often.
No.
And so it's special.
That's why, that's
So like your experience with the Nerds
the
in
Nerds.
Denial. You've got to learn too, though, that I guess that it comes with, with getting to know the bandmates. So you may have someone new, but you'll have to like work your relationship,
Yeah, no, I absolutely hear you.
Sorry, I'm just rambling now.
No, it's good. It's good. This is how I talk, so I'm feeling right at home.
Yeah.
I it's interesting too because I write a lot of snippets on my own. It's not frequent, like it's not rare, but it's not as frequent for me to write whole songs at a time. I'll have like a verse or a chorus or a beginning or an end or whatever, and then I will not always require, but frequently require other people that I trust and value their musical intelligence and the way that they communicate it to help me fill in the gaps. And that's something that's really special to me with the Nerds is that we can do that seamlessly. And it's always a joyful experience, like it's never like, God, why can't we just write the thing? No, it's always just like, oh, try that. Oh, this gave me an idea. Let me try this. Okay, you play that. And it just like, it works every single time.
But this is going to sound really weird. It's all about communication.
Yeah.
The communication between, because that response that you're given to each other, you feel comfortable being like, oh, let's all stop doing whatever shitty thing we're doing, and let's do that cool thing that you just did. And
happens all the time.
There's no like ego in it.
Right,
There's
no.
It's like what's good for the song.
Right.
What that made me feel.
And, oh my God, you bring up a really like what's good for the song. I love that mentality, that framing, because I'm approaching when I write music with other people, I'm approaching that, right? But when I'm not using the same mentality, I don't think, trying to build a band to do. Does that make sense? Like, I could take that mentality and apply it to finding the right people for a new group. And I think maybe it hasn't been happening because it's not been like an ego trip entirely, but I think my ego has been playing a smaller role. And like, why hasn't this happened yet? Like, why, like me, like I have things to give. I want to do this. And it fulfills me too. It sustains me. So that definitely I think is allowed, but I'm wondering if maybe that's too much. Like that's the driving force and it shouldn't be. It's
like I said, it's tough. I think I struggle with that too. Like as a songwriter, it's very, very difficult to detach yourself from your song, right? And not have it be a personal thing.
Yeah.
That's that you're like, oh, you're not doing it the way I need it to be or whatever. But maybe they're giving something to the song that they're like, oh, this is
right, like that you never would have imagined possible. Right.
So I do want to address this or get to this point or this question to you, Jaesic, and I've asked this kind of every guest so far, right? Because I have this very specific way that I write songs, and so I'm interested into like how a song comes about. And I in the past episodes equated it to almost like I'm not.
Like a Myers-Briggs test or something?
Yeah. So here's the deal. I went to Catholic school, right?
Okay.
So there we go, right? So the religion. There it is. Yeah, the religion got worked out of me in school. But I almost feel like it comes from some place that like you can't go, me personally, and most songwriters that I know, and famous songwriters that get interviewed, you can't go and say, I'm going to go and write now.
Right.
Because as soon as you do that, it's like, nothing's going to come out of that.
It goes flat.
Yeah,
every single time. And it's interesting to me because people coach others and say you can't wait for the inspiration to come. You have to be diligent and disciplined with your time so that you can make it happen when you need to. And I'm like, but that's literally not how my brain works. Yeah, that's not how it works for me.
I think that's a pop music writing technique.
That makes sense to me.
So I can go and I can write.
I could write a freaking pop song.
it's difficult to write like a very popular song, right? But
Sure.
like cliche things, you can add those in there. You can write cliche, licks and lyrics.
Your classic chord progression,
right,
and
get in there. But when it's something that's really like emotionally, like hits people, I think that has to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
So when do you or how do you typically?
Oh gosh,
write
I'm all over the place, dude.
something?
I am all over the place. I do kind of do all the things. I'll either start with lyrics, or I'll start with melody, or I'll start with chords. Infrequently the lyrics. Lyrics usually come last for me.
I found that that's pretty ubiquitous across.
Yeah. Like I'll definitely have, like if I'm really feeling emotionally charged about something that I need to process, that's different because then the words will always come first.
Do you when you have like a breakup or you have something emotionally, do you tend to go to your ukulele or your piano or
on and off? I wouldn't say it's my go-to every single time, but I think it is definitely a tool that it helps me process and heal and cope. Probably more than any other coping or other things that I do. But for me, writing is more about maybe now more. Before it was maybe more of that where I was helping myself heal or cope. Now it's more an attempt to be present to myself and to my surroundings and to the world. And not to say that that's so much different from healing and coping and processing. But I would say I don't wait for the bad thing to happen, if that makes sense. I'm doing it more than I used to when it was just like the bad thing happened and now I have to write about it, But for me, typically, a melody will just pop into my head. And if I choose to pursue it, then more parts of a song and orchestration will come. And I'll end up like recording into my phone the melody. And
how do you do that? Do you just mumble words or do you?
I usually just
smiling because that's what I do every time. I just mumble words.
Sometimes I'll mumble. Sometimes words will come almost immediately. Most of the time, it's just me, singing a do or a da, like into my phone. I do a do about it, like just
the classic.
I'm scatting over here.
Yeah.
It's all jazz, baby, all jazz. But yeah, I will record into my phone, and it happens any time of day. I'll be in the shower, in the car, trying to fall asleep, or just waking up. Those are my least favorite times that this happens. But
really?
Yeah, I prefer when I'm not trying to sleep because I want to like pursue it and I can't right away.
Yeah. So in other words, it comes at the moments that is the worst time
because
for
my brain's not like.
But you've developed ways
to capture
to get that.
Yeah.
Do you just grab your phone and you just?
I literally do. Yeah, I keep my phone very
too.
close by.
As a matter of fact, one song I recorded in my phone. I was coming back from an open mic.
Nice, yeah.
And I was coming off the highway exit, and this thing was like running through my head. I pulled off the exit, and then I had to park in a Taco Bell parking lot.
Yes.
Right? And I pulled out my phone and I just started humming this thing. I was tapping on my leg, and a cop pulled up next to me. He's like, "What are you?" Because it was late at night. He's like, "What are you doing over here?" or whatever. And I was like, "I was just recording."
I swear, I'm just writing a song in my car.
And then I pulled up, but great song. I actually haven't been able to reproduce that song, but it was good.
Yeah,
it was like real raw and what have you. But so, how do you then take that though from that inopportune melody or what have you to then
to actually making a song?
I'm gonna perform this now in front of people, which is the craziest thing to do. Okay, I just had this dream, or I had this this vision of some melody or whatever, and now I'm going to go perform this in front of people.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, everyone, look at this weird thing I just came up with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like it's such a strange thing to do, but such that's why I'm saying it's so raw. It's such like you're exposing all your
No, really, it is. It's very revealing, very vulnerable. I've noticed over the years that I could have written so many good songs, and a lot of them are just wasted because I didn't have time to come back in time for my brain to remember what even was my direction with whatever I recorded, right? So there are things that I've just lost to the ether. Like they're just gone. But
I will say this. You never quite lose those things because sound is like vibrations.
True.
I'm going to get all physics on us. So sound is just vibrations, right? So and energy, right? It doesn't ever. So it just dissipates. So it's always in the atmosphere because it's air vibrating, right? Yeah. So everything that's ever been said, sang, or made into music is still existing now, that's just at such low frequencies that the human ear can't hear it, but it's still.
Well, it's still out there. Maybe it'll come back to me in real
everyone
way.
to go to sleep tonight thinking about the fact that everything that has ever been said ever is still rotating around the world.
And don't
including
spiral
every song that you ever thought was crap.
Thank you. There it is.
It's still in rotation worldwide. Jaesic.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. You're fine. That's funny, though. Well, either way, right? In a practical sense, I will go back. I'll go back when I have time and I'm feeling inspired. I'll go back to my recordings and be like, what was that really cool thing that I was doing the other day? And especially if it consistently sticks in my head, where there's this one song called Cotton Candy Dreams. I wrote it.
It's a good name.
Thanks. After
I'm gonna pour myself a whiskey.
Do it. I was at Keuka Lake. My grandparents have a cottage that stayed in my family, and I was watching my mom's dog, and there was this beautiful sunset. I had just processed some really heavy shit, and like felt this healing happening. And so I went down. I left the dog up in the cottage so I could just like be alone for a second. And I went out and looked up at the sky, and there's these beautiful cotton candy clouds, just gorgeous, so soft, so pretty. And this melody, cotton candy clouds up in the sky, like it just came to me, and suddenly I wrote this song, and it's not finished, but it's stuck. Like I know that's one that I need to complete. I know that's one. And another one I have is this. Actually, I'm really excited about this. It's a Latin pop song with funk on it.
All right.
And there's a breakdown in the middle of
you got me interested now.
Yeah. There's a breakdown in the middle before the funk really comes on. That's like this bluesy dubsteppy vibe. So it's like this big drop in the midst of a Latin pop song. Super random, but it's super cool. I love it. That's the next one I'm recording. And I knew that one I would finish because it stuck in my head for years, literally.
So this is something else I've come across like pretty ubiquitous against like or with songwriters, is that it's almost, see the way you're talking about your songs right now, right? It's like you're talking about a song that you've listened to already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's like it's
your guitar agrees also.
It's like you're remembering the song versus writing it almost.
Right. Well, I think it's because, well, with Blasphemy, the Latin pop song, that one is done. Like I've even performed it once with the Nerds at their they had a St. Patrick's Day show this year. But with Cotton Candy Clouds, I haven't heard all of the pieces exactly where they're supposed to go and like finished it that way, but I've heard the song. Like it's fully in my head. I just need the right people and time and place, to make it happen. Yeah. So absolutely. Like I feel like the ones that are worth writing are the ones that like talking about it. It sounds like you're remembering, listening. Yeah, I like that perspective a lot. So
let's do this. I'm gonna call. Are we at almost 2 hours now? Is that where we're at? Oh, 1 hour.
I was gonna say that was a very fast 2 hours.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez.
I was looking at the time up there, but right.
Okay.
But I'd really like to get 2 things out.
Sure.
One, let's have you shamelessly promote whatever you'd like to promote.
Okay.
Right into that camera there.
Okay, great. So you can find me a few places. I have a new singing-only Instagram called Jaesic Sings. It's Jaesic and then sings. Right now it's mostly jazz on there, and it's very new, so there's not a lot, but it's growing. My other profile has me in all my glory in so many different facets, so it's a little chaotic, not a lot of rhyme or reason, but it has singing plus all the other artistic things that I get up to. I do...
we didn't get into your
dance, and we can talk about maybe.
We might have to bring you back.
Yeah, so I dance a lot. I DJ for dancing. I am also a drag artist. I do sometimes fire stuff. That I don't think I've actually posted anything for that yet. But so I'm your eclectic artist, gigging my way through life. And you can find that profile called Just Jaesic, which is JUSTJAESIC. And I do have a Bandcamp. It's I think bandcamp.com/justjaesic, I'm pretty sure also. And that has my first officially produced song with the Nerds, actually. It's called Roots. I might be playing that in a little bit.
Awesome.
And I also have a song on there right now that I produced myself for DJing fusion dancing. So it's in particular a microfusion song, which we can talk about or not, but so go stalk me a little bit. Go come hang out.
Well, Jaesic, I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have a second episode.
Okay.
I think there's definitely going to be a second one, because I've had so much fun talking to you that I've completely forgotten about any kind of like structure that I had to it, any kind of like.
It's all good, man.
Yeah. So,
it's all good.
So we're right there. But I do want to talk just a second about dance. Right?
Yeah, please.
And the reason I'm so kind of in awe of dancers, especially someone that's a musician and does the dance stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because you do dance stuff, but you don't necessarily dance while you're playing music, right? You have the dance.
Oh yeah, no, that's mostly separate. I mean, I'll get jiggy on stage. Don't get me wrong, but
me too.
dancing.
I do some footwork, but not anything. No Michael Jackson. Emulate
none of that
to me. But so how did you get into dance?
Like in my bio, I truly, since the age I could walk and talk, I was dancing and singing. It's just always been in my blood. It's actually funny, growing up, I wanted to be more than anything a professional dancer.
Oh, really?
More than anything. And music was on my radar, but it wasn't nearly as intense as wanting to be a famous dancer. And I, unfortunately, because of my connective tissue disorder, which we didn't actually know that I had until 2021, we just knew that I was effed up, and we didn't know why.
You're just broken. Don't worry.
Straight up broke.
We're all
but
we're all broken. Don't worry, Jason.
That's fine. We're all mending, right? So drink your whiskey.
Just accepting the brokenness, I think is more like it.
But so I unfortunately had to stop all my dancing when I was 10 or 11. I was in a wheelchair for some time. I had to go through a lot of physical therapy and other kinds of therapy, just like building myself back up. But in college, I discovered partner dancing. And so my first styles of dance in that way were Lindy Hop, East Coast Swing, Balboa, lots of swing and jazz culture, which led me to blues, which led me to fusion. And that's like the classic pipeline is swing to blues to fusion. So, I'm your average guy.
I'm really appreciative. Because you're much younger than me, right? So,
few years.
So the appreciation for jazz and that sort of thing. Like I think in the 90s,
there's a resurgence for sure.
Yeah, there was a definitely resurgence of jazz. I think Nirvana made some weird things happen. Some weird things happen in the 90s. Like it was this acceptance of this every genre of music. I mean, there was hip hop. As a matter of fact, I want to talk about something real quick.
Yeah, sure.
It's very topical.
Yeah.
Did you know that there was an arrest made in the Tupac murder?
Wait,
Did you guys hear about that?
no.
Holy shit. So
What?
So apparently there was some guy that's been going on podcasts for the last 3 years saying that he was in the car and whatever happened in the back seat, he doesn't remember, but it had something to do with, and
Oh, no.
yeah, there's all sorts of crazy stuff going. So, but they arrested someone now
Well, good.
in correlation with, and I don't know if I should even say this, but I'm gonna get like killed here. But like P. Diddy was apparently somehow involved, and
Oh, my God.
there was like, yeah, I think Puff Daddy's gonna come after me, P. Diddy. Diddy.
Come
Yeah,
at
see,
us.
see, New York Times, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't.
But
from here
he's
now, but
he's apparently like, because the
Holy
guy's
crap.
ratting on. He's
Wow.
like, you never gave me anything for doing that. Like there was
Wow.
like a hit call. on-
Wow. Oh,
But
my
Tupac,
God.
I'm hoping Biggie, because Tupac I liked, but Biggie I was a little more into. I hope they
Yeah.
found both the killers. Anyway,
Yeah.
we don't want to get into murders and stuff. Yeah,
that's
let's
so
get off this
intense, man.
subject.
Wow. Shit.
What are those lights? Everyone, get down! No, I'm just.
No.
But I'm gonna have you back out,
Yeah.
Jaesic, if you're cool with that.
Yeah.
If you.
Yeah.
Do you
yeah.
like-
Yeah. You mean be back here?
Yeah, back
Yes.
here.
Yes. Sorry.
Well-
I my brain did not want to compute that.
We'll have
at
you back
all.
out here.
No, I thought like for some reason it sounded like back out. Like you got to back the way out.
No,
like,
no.
Get out.
No, we're leaving this. We're not cutting any of this out. This is all staying in. So P.
Fantastic.
If you want to produce someone that knows what the next generation of musician is doing, you come see me from prison.
But yes,
so-
I would love to be back. That would be
Yeah, so we're gonna have to come back because I
Yeah.
want to hear about your history with jazz.
Yeah.
And what you love about
Yeah.
jazz and why you dance to that.
Yeah.
And then I want to hear more about dancing too.
Sure,
because
I'd love to share how it's influenced things.
I wish I could dance,
yeah.
but I can't.
Okay, first
Yeah.
of all, I'm going to stop you.
No, I
I'm
can.
going to stop you. Anyone, if you can wiggle your toe, if you can wiggle your booty, if you can wiggle anything, you can dance. Okay? It doesn't have to be this whole thing. Get rid of perfectionism. That's a crap structure anyway. Okay? If you move your body, you can dance. Okay?
All right,
Okay.
fair enough. Fair enough. I can wiggle a booty,
There you go. That's all you need. That's all you need.
but a little. I can do it like a little bit.
Hey, a little
It's like
more than nothing. So
it's more like a jiggle.
anyway.
But let's move on. Jaesic, we're gonna have episode 2. So if you'd like to see Jaesic come back on, because this was a great conversation, at least for me.
Yeah, I loved it. Thank you.
Comment on it. And I will ask one thing at the end of this. If you are watching this and you're at this point in the video and you haven't subscribed yet,
Do it.
yeah, I'm gonna have to say you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to subscribe and like, and maybe put a little comment like what do you like about
Yeah.
what we're doing, what you hate about it. I don't care. You can hate
Bring
me.
on the critiques.
You can be like, who's this fucking host? Get him the hell out of here. Let's get someone else, and I'd be good with that. Jaesic is brilliant, and
Aw,
and
thanks.
here's what we're gonna do from here. Normally we start the show out with a little like riff thing,
Yeah.
and we'll evolve as we go on.
Yeah.
But I want you to play a song. But before you do that, I want you to describe like kind of what it's about.
Oh gosh. Okay, so I'm Roots. It's called, and this is the song that I produced. Was talking earlier about with the Nerds, and it was during the height of the pandemic, right after it started. So maybe like a few months in past. When did it start? March.
Well, they
February?
said so.
For us in the States, I think it was March.
Yeah, March.
Yeah, I think it was around March. So like maybe towards the beginning of fall, I think. I hadn't written music in a really long time, and I was very frustrated and struggling with apathy and anger, like flipping back and forth between the both, between the two. I can talk. And I found this, I finally was like, I know what I need. And I broke out my ukulele. And this chord progression, I found the first chord and just instantly knew where I was going. This song poured out of me in 20 minutes, including the words, which doesn't happen very, very frequently for me, but I had some shit to say, and I needed to get it out. And this song is about the effects of colonialism, individualism, just the effect that humanity has had on itself under capitalist, colonialist rule, essentially. And it's about, you'll hear in the last chorus, you know, we're going to stay like this until we break it down and start again. And I plant a little seed of hope at the end, but the song's kind of dark. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of sad and angry.
That's fun. That's fun. I think that during that time too, so there was a whole lot of mystery.
Oh yeah, so many unknowns.
I'm trying to put it in a nice way, you know. But there was like, oh, we're gonna shut down everything for 2 weeks,
and then it was way more than 2 weeks.
And I will say, for as a songwriter and as someone that's an artist, I guess you can call me maybe. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What an amazing time.
And it was a huge opportunity. Silver lining. Yep.
During that.
100%.
And I always like to, and you'll agree, Allie, on this, like looking at the glass half full. Yeah. Even when the glass is empty.
Oh yeah.
And the bottom of the glass is being slowly cut to be melted down and turned into diamonds that can be sold to someone for whatever. To be able to live through something like that is pretty amazing. So, and I think it's an inspiration. So let's do this. Let's get your ukulele out.
Let's do it.
Let's move the microphone down. And while we're here too, by the time this video gets released, we'll have some hoodies. Ooh. We'll have some hats.
Get that merch.
We'll have some T-shirts out. We'll have some merch. So please buy that because that helps continue the podcast. Yeah. And thank you again to Seed and Stone Cidery for sponsoring the podcast. We really appreciate it. It helps to just keep it going, like the hosting and stuff. All that costs some money. And I really love talking to songwriters and musicians. And if you were to have one thing to share with, let's say, young kids that are starting out in the music industry, they're just starting to write songs. Mm-hmm. They feel like, oh, I'm not as good as, I don't know, who's big now, Green Day or Cardi B or whatever, right? Like what advice would you say you've learned now?
Be selfish with your music. Make it about you. Make it about your experience. Make it about your processing, because there's no one like you. And we need you, not somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a great piece of advice. And Jaesic, let's hear you being you.
Okay. It's funny, I say be selfish. Well, this was my processing about the world. So that still is, it's still me.
No, it's because
find your voice and use it, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think musicians sometimes don't want to be selfish a little bit and be like, this is me, and but I think we need musicians and comedians and artists to be like, this is me raw.
Yeah.
I hurt and I'm sad.
Because that's what's inspiring.
I'm an idiot.
No, exactly. We need more authenticity. We need people owning their shit. We need people owning who they are, so that everyone watching that can be like, if they can do it, I can do it.
That's right.
And like, how awesome is the world when we can all be like that?
Let's get a close up. Let's get a close. If I can fucking do anything. Everyone out there that's watching can do it.
All right, Patrick. I think we got a little off topic.
Let's get some music. Let's get some music going, Jaesic.
Okay, all right. Okay, how are we? Is this like?
Yeah. How do maybe point it
down more?
Perfect.
Okay. Get rid of this thing. It's gonna annoy me. Who's that in the window looking in? Reflection so uncaring. Where have I been? Tell me it's so simple. Just keep trying. Well, if it's so simple, why Why do I feel like I'm dying? None of this is easy, nothing ever could. Now society's so diseased, thinking that we should all be on our own now. Confess that this is good. We're a dying breed, it's plain to see. Gotta fall through to the ground. Who's that on the sidewalk walking by? We're all so far apart, yet I hear a collective sigh. They keep telling us just keep trying. Well, I keep trying, you keep trying, yet people are still dying. And none of this is easy, nothing ever would. Now society's so diseased, thinking that we should all be on our own now. Confess that this is good. We're a dying breed, it's plain to see. Turn her rotten fruit, roots to the ground. Sorry. I'm so sorry. It didn't, but it had to be. I'm so sorry. Started with a colony. I'm so sorry. It didn't, but it had to be. I'm so sorry. Just want us to all be free. None of this is easy. Nothing ever will. No society's so diseased. Broken until break down all the systems. But change is still it's good. We're a dying breed, it's plain to see. You turned to rotten fruit and cut off all the roots to the ground.
Jaesic.
Thank you.
Can we cut to this camera here? So, even professionals, when they're playing live, and let me tell you this, because I've seen Aerosmith do it. I have done. I've seen Steven Tyler from Aerosmith do it.
Yeah.
I've seen, what's the guy from Black Crowes, lead singer? I forget his name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about now.
I've seen Beyonce fucking do it.
Even Beyonce,
Yeah.
y'all.
You miss something, right?
Yeah.
And then, but you keep going. I think if I was going to give some piece of advice to young songwriters,
Yeah.
at least performers,
Yeah.
right? On a recording, you can go back
You can
and
go back.
re-record it, right?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Just keep going.
Just keep going.
With your
Yeah, that has
with
been
your
a
stuff.
lifelong struggle for me.
But
lifelong.
I do love the song too.
Thank you.
So do you have the lyrics in front of you? By any chance?
I can recite them.
Because the second verse
Yeah.
in particular,
yeah.
can you read that out?
Yeah, so I don't think I have them on my phone, but so I said, who's that on the sidewalk walking by? We're all so far apart, yet I hear a collective sigh. They keep telling us, just keep trying. Well, I keep trying, you keep trying, but people keep dying. And then chorus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I said, it's heavy. It's that was processing pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah, who's telling us, right?
Right. Who is the they? Who is the they?
I think it's very impactful.
Right.
It's a great fucking song.
Thank
Jaesic.
you.
Great fucking song. And I think the rawness of just a ukulele and you singing it is
It's the most raw, I would say. The most raw, the most real. Even when I fuck up. Especially when I fuck up.
But here's the deal. I don't think of those moments as fuck ups, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes those moments are the things that produce things that are like, oh, that's interesting.
Oh, that's true.
Right? You
It's
miss
happened.
a chord
Yeah.
and you hit something else
Like,
and you're
oh.
like, oh, that's interesting. Right?
Yeah.
You know it.
I've
You
been
know
there.
it.
I've been there several times.
I know you know it because you reacted like that. So for all those young people listening too and watching, when you're writing songs, those little things that happen, that's what makes a song. Even the Beatles, like you listen to there was that thing that came out where they just filmed the Beatles like in a rehearsal space.
Oh, wow.
And they were recording a
Cool.
thing, and they're working through all the shit. Those little things, they become parts of songs.
Yeah. Be inspired by your mistakes, because that's literally that's the creative process,
But not that I'm saying that that's a mistake, right?
Well,
but
sure, yeah. Just like unexpected.
Yeah.
An unexpected decision or landing.
Jaesic, we're going to continue this.
I would love that.
So we're going to do can I say a ... How would you do that?
Ellipsis.
Was that perfect?
I was going to go down and you went up. That's perfect.
Yeah, if I can get this.
Good.
There we go. That was it. So that was to be continued. Jaesic, I love you.
I love you too, man.
Thank you for coming on the show. I really
me.
appreciate it, because this is such a for musicians in a town to like come down to my house and chill in front of this crazy sign.
Cool ass
I'm
sign.
so proud of that thing of all things, like a nerd. Thank you for coming out, and thank you for playing music for us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And we're gonna have you back out.
I'd love that.
We'll
just let me know
about dancing and
all
all that stuff later. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and
Seed and Stone Cidery.
I thought I had the hat on. Seed and Stone Cider. Thank you for sponsoring it. And we're looking for more sponsors, maybe. I mean, just what if people
Why not?
Just throw money at us.
Yeah, I mean, heck yeah.
But preferably
Yeah.
something that we like. Thank you to the Chinese company on Amazon that decided that was
Great job, guys.
what they want
Well
to do.
done.
Good job, guys. I don't know what the name of the company is, but Jaesic, I want to give you a hug, but I'll give you a hug later.
Later.
Thank you, everyone, for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone that's watching, and we'll see you on the next episode. We got some super exciting stuff coming up, so
stay tuned.
All right, Jaesic.
Yeah. Thank you, Patrick.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.